Michaela and I are doing our capstone on the topic of feeding and swallowing in a school-based setting. How competent are speech-language pathologists? Our study is aimed to identify why school-based speech-language pathologists do not feel competent in providing these services in the school setting. There has been previous research done that tells us there is an educational need identified by the Education for All Handicapped Children Act in 1975. It says that all children with disabilities are entitled to receive individualized educational programs, also known as IEP, tailored to their specific needs. This was from Hutchins. Our study will survey speech-language pathologists with experience in feeding and swallowing that are currently working in the school setting or have previously worked in the school-based setting.
Okay, so a little bit about the background about our topic. So we just picked some, these are some questions that arose whenever we picked our topic and when what we just really were wondering if this was being done. And also we looked up, if these were research about this is already done. And also we want to know if we can answer a lot of these questions in our research. So what we found so far is there's limited research done on what type of dysphagia management is actually being done in the schools. So there, ASHA says that we are, as speech therapists, are supposed to provide specific guidelines for SLPs regarding the provision of swallowing and feeding in schools. The guidelines include that a student must be safe while eating in schools, which involves providing appropriate personnel, food, and procedures to minimize risks for choking and aspiration during oral feeding. It's also said that students must be adequately nourished and hydrated so that they can attend to and fully access the school curriculum, and that students must be healthy, free from aspiration, pneumonia, or other illnesses related to malnutrition or dehydration in order to maximize their attention in school. So that's the ASHA guidelines for what we are supposed to make sure that these kids are getting done. But there's just not a set protocol in place for what is to be done if you have, a student with this on your caseload. And then for our methods, the participants in this study included this. We're looking at speech language pathologists that currently work or have worked in the school-based setting in Texas. So participants included in the study demonstrated a variety level of knowledge in the area of feeding and swallowing, and cumulatively had an average. We're just going to see how many years they've had an average of knowing how to work with feeding and swallowing in the schools. And the materials that we're using is the study was completed using a survey created by me and Crystal, graduate clinician researchers, and questions borrowed and adapted from the work of this article by Hutchins. And the survey included an initial question verifying consent. And then afterwards, participants were asked a series of questions beginning with general relevant demographic information. Questions included, but were not limited to employment setting, experience, years of experience, level of education, and how or if they provide feeding and swallowing services currently in the school setting. And the procedure is that the survey was in the form of an online questionnaire created in Qualtrics. And the link is to the questionnaire was shared in a variety of ways, the most prominent being through social media such as Facebook and Instagram. So we're excited to see what comes out of our research. Okay.